Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Musipar Paramahansa Pribhaja Kacharya Ashtotar Shishimat Esi Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada Ki Jaya Musipar Paramahansa Pribhaja Kacharya Ashtotar Shishimat Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Thakur Prabhupada Ki Ananta Kuti Vaishnava Bindi Ki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Shad Goswami Ki Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Can you go? I had a little yellow piece of paper I wrote down. I forgot to bring it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we'll be reading from 1st Canto, 2nd chapter, text number 5. The reason I chose this verse was because today is supposed to be Srila Prabhupada's class. So instead of trying to usurp Srila Prabhupada, I read the class that he gave on this verse, and the verse was confirmed by mystical potency. Okay, let me just finish this little introduction. And so I just noted down all the points that Srila Prabhupada made on this verse, which he actually makes on this verse and the next verse. And then, so that we'll follow Srila Prabhupada and hear from him. I'll just be saying it in a different way. Okay.
Hare Krishna. So we'd like to welcome His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj in our Radha Govinda Mandir. So Maharaj is a very senior devotee. He joined in the early 1975. From that time, Maharaj is serving. So he is also a GBC and he is also initiating Guru. And we are very fortunate to get his association. So we welcome Maharaj by loudly chanting 3 times. Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. And we request Maharaj that every time when you come, please give us more and more association.
Hare Krishna. It's also a pleasure to be here after many years in this particular temple. Totally changed from the last time I was here. Very nice. I'm sure that Srila Prabhupada is very happy to see that this point of origin, as far as starting temples in India, has expanded so nicely. That is the nature of Krishna consciousness, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. It always expands blissfully. And if it's expanding and not blissfully, then it must not be the Sankirtan movement. It must be something else. So I'll read the verse, and then, oh, we have it here, good. Muneo sadaprishtoham bhavadbir lokamangalam yatkita Krishna samprashno yenatma supasiddhati. Munayo sadaprishtoham bhavadbir lokamangalam Yadkita Krishna samprashno yenatma suprasidati. Munaya sadaprishtoham lokamangalam Yenatma suprasidati. Maya Krishtoham Pravati lokamangalam Yadkita Krishna samprashno Yenatma suprasidati. Naya prishtoham Naitavivilam Madhita Krishna samprashno Yenatma suprasidati. Vaishnavis. Munyam sadaprishtoham bhavadbir lokamangalam Yadkita Krishna samprashno yenatma suprasidati. Sadaprishtoham Muniya sadhu prishtoham Bhagavad Yatkita Krishna samprashno Yenatma suprasidati. Munaya, O sages, sadhu, devotee, prishta, questioned, aham, myself, bhavadbhi, by all of you. Yes, this is a mistake here in the book. I thought that was a mistake. Sadhu should be, as it says here, that this is relevant. Actually, it means being. No, this is being relevant. So, anyway, a little mistake here in the book. Loka, the world. Mangalam, welfare. Yat, because. Kuta, made. Krishna, personality of Godhead. Samprashna, relevant questions. Yena, by which. Atma, self. Suprasidati, completely pleased. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. O sages, I have been justly questioned by you. Your questions are worthy because they relate to Lord Krishna and so are of relevance to the world's welfare. Only questions of this sort are capable of completely satisfying the self. Everyone can please repeat. O sages, I have been justly questioned by you. Your questions are worthy because they relate to Lord Krishna and so are of relevance to the world's welfare. Only questions of this sort are capable of completely satisfying the self. Purport. Since it has been stated herein before that in the Bhagavatam the absolute truth is to be known, the questions of the sages of Naimisharanya are proper and just because they pertain to Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth. In Bhagavad Gita 15:15, the Personality of Godhead says that in all the Vedas there is nothing but the urge for searching after Him, Lord Krishna. Thus the questions that pertain to Krishna are the sum and substance of all the Vedic inquiries. Om Jnanatimirandasya Ganam Jana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Shva Parantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Hari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So I stopped here before I start with Srila Prabhupada's rendition of this verse. Because Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that why are these questions relevant? Because they pertain to Krishna. And why are questions pertaining to Krishna relevant? Because Vedashya Sarvaraham Eva Vedyo. Because Krishna is the objective of all the Vedas. And because the Vedas contain all knowledge, or all knowledge is coming from the Vedas, then everything is meant to satisfy Krishna, which, as this verse and the next verse say, Yayatma suprasidati, which will satisfy the self. One time, Srila Prabhupada said, why do we love ourselves? And devotees said, oh, Maya, illusion, this, that. Prabhupada said, no, because we are part of Krishna. Mamayavamso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Then, because everyone loves Krishna. But when you don't know Krishna, then you love yourself. But you must love yourself because you love Krishna. No. But real love for the self can only be there when we understand who is Krishna and who is the self. Then there can be, otherwise, just like in the modern world, people think that devotees have low self-esteem because they think, oh, I'm insignificant. But that's because they don't know Krishna. They want to be very significant. And they think that is self-esteem. But that is not self-esteem. That is ahankara esteem. That I'm very proud of my ahankara. But to be very proud, really proud of the self, one has to understand the nature of the self. So Srila Prabhupada continues his purport. The whole world is full of questions and answers. The birds, beasts, and men are all busy in the matter of perpetual questions and answers. In the morning, the birds in the nest become busy with questions and answers. And in the evening, also the same birds come back and again become busy with questions and answers. Just like the dog. He's asking, barking, "Who are you? Why are you here on my property?" No. Everyone is questioning and answering. And he's answering by barking, saying, "Stay away." So everyone everywhere is questioning. But what kind of questions are they? The human being, unless he is fast asleep at night, is busy with questions and answers. The businessmen in the market are busy with questions and answers. And so are the lawyers in the court and the students in the schools and colleges. The legislators in the parliament are also busy with questions and answers. And the politicians and the press representatives are all busy with questions and answers. Although they go on making such questions and answers for their whole lives, they are not at all satisfied. Satisfaction of the soul can only be obtained by questions and answers. So if we study world literature, you see these great material geniuses. I made the point, even Einstein, he was so intelligent. And he was reading Bhagavad Gita, but he couldn't understand that Krishna was a person. Why? Because he thought, how could a person allow the Holocaust? Even though Krishna explains very clearly karma and you're getting the reaction for everything you do in this world, he could not understand because there was no parampara. So understanding doesn't depend on one's intellectual power. Understanding depends on hearing properly. And therefore, that's being emphasized here. One has to hear properly. So they're never satisfied. Big, because most philosophers, if you study, they're generally speaking about the world's problems. They analyze them in great detail, but they have no solution, and therefore they're not satisfied. And no one is satisfied. Usually people become less satisfied when you read about it, because they outline all these problems, social unrest, philosophy, but it's all based on problems, because this material world is made up of problems. 4 problems: birth, death, old age, and disease. So because of those 4 problems, we can never come to a solution or be happy. Krishna is our most intimate master, friend, father, or son, and the object of conjugal love. Forgetting Krishna, we have created so many objects of questions and answers, but none of them are able to give us complete satisfaction. All things but Krishna give temporary satisfaction only. So if we are to have complete satisfaction, we must take to the questions and answers about Krishna. We cannot live for a moment without being questioned or without giving answers. Because the Srimad-Bhagavatam deals with the questions and answers that are related to Krishna, we can derive the highest satisfaction only by reading and hearing this transcendental literature. One should learn from Srimad-Bhagavatam and make an all-around solution to the problems pertaining to social, political, or religious matters. Srimad-Bhagavatam and Krishna are the sum total of all things. So, just on that last point, because Prabhupada said we should hear his books and try to explain them, that allows us to become more Krishna conscious. Prabhupada said when you try to explain something, then you have to look deeper into the matter. If we just read, that's good. One should read Bhagavatam and hear Bhagavatam by one's own effort. But then when one speaks Bhagavatam, one has to carefully analyze each point in the purport and try to explain it nicely so that everyone can follow. Because, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, there are three types of relationships. One, the best relationship, is that you have with superior Vaishnavas. You hear. Then, with contemporary Vaishnavas, you serve. And with newer or more neophyte Vaishnavas, you display compassion by explaining to them. So, of course, sometimes we may be explaining to people who are more qualified. Just like Sutta Goswami, when he was speaking, and even Shukadev, when he was speaking, his father was present, hearing from him. His father, who gave him that information, he gave him the Bhagavatam while he was in the womb, but then he was hearing from him. This is called humility. Not that, oh, so-and-so is giving the class, I'm much more advanced than them. No, that's not humility. Humility means whoever is speaking, then if they're speaking properly in a humble state of mind, then Krishna will empower them to speak properly. And then they will understand, and we can all understand. So, Srila Prabhupada, in relation to this verse, he emphasized that this is a good question. These are good questions. In the beginning of Shukadev Goswami's explanation of the Bhagavatam, he says, Variyan eshate prashna krito lokahitam nipa. O king, this is a very good question because lokahitam, it is for the benefit of everyone. And atmavit samatam bhumsam, it has been approved by the parampara. And shrotavya dishu ya paraha. Therefore, it is the best hearing. That's the beginning of the Shukadev Bhagavatam. Now we have the additional first canto given to us. But what Shukadev explained was actually the second canto to the 12th canto. And the first canto comes right after Shukadev from Sutta Goswami, who is giving the background by saying how this all happened. How did Shukadev hear it? Of course, Shukadev himself explains that. But anyway, to go on with what Srila Prabhupada said, Loka Mangala, as this verse says, Bhavad Bir, all of you have made good questions. In other words, the only duty of everyone is to ask about Krishna. That's when he says Bhavad Bir Loka Mangalam. This is a good question, and everyone should be doing it. Not just you and I, not some. No, everyone should be questioning and answering about Krishna. Machchita madgana prana, madgata prana, bodhyanta paraspara, katyantaschamam nityam, tushanti cha, ramanti cha. Krishna says that devotees become happy and blissful by hearing and inquiring about Krishna. Then Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna appears for two reasons. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam. That's one reason. One reason is to bless the devotees, and he's also blessing the demons by killing them. When Krishna kills a demon, it's a blessing. And it also says at the very end of the 10th canto that Krishna's arms are extended through his pure devotees. And his pure devotees, just like we also kill demons by destroying the demoniac tendency in the heart through Sankirtan. It kills that demoniac tendency. Prasad Maharaj said that Randhaya Karma Shayan, that my dear Lord Nrsimhadev, please kill the greatest demon that exists, which are unwanted desires within the heart. This is the demon the only real demon that's going to bother us. All the other demons, if we're Krishna conscious, just like Prasad Maharaj, Krishna will take care of them. And if something happens that's unfortunate to me, I don't consider it unfortunate. I consider it is part of my past destiny. I must fulfill. So it's actually Krishna's mercy. So, Srila Prabhupada says the other reason is Dharma samstapanartaya, as Krishna reveals, that to establish religion. But not religion. That's how Srila Prabhupada translates it. But he himself said in this particular class on this verse that Dharma does not mean religion. No. Religion in the modern context, of course, religion, if we analyze it, the word religion in its original language of Latin, relicare means to rejoin. No. Otherwise, to rejoin oneself with one's original activity or seva, no, to do service. That is Dharma. The original tendency of the soul is to unite oneself with one's natural activity, which is Dharma. But then why does Krishna say, Srila Prabhupada explained in this lecture, why does Krishna say, Sarva Dharmam Parityajya? He said there are two types of dharmas. There is temporary dharma, apara dharma, and para dharma. So then Srila Prabhupada goes to the next verse, with one of the most famous verses in the Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada explained that when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur went to Radha Kund, all the Babajis came thinking, oh, this great learned scholar will speak about Krishna Lila. But what did he speak about? Savayapam sa paro dharmo. No. After one or two lectures, everyone was gone, except for his disciples. No. We don't want to hear this basic information. No. But they could not understand this verse. No. And so he said, so we're giving up the apara dharma, the dharma that is created by identifying with the body. By identifying with the body, we think, I have family dharma, kula dharma. I have national dharma. Just like every country, you're supposed to honor the flag and love the country, and all these things. But Prabhupada said, when you change the body, you change country. You may change race. You may change species. If you're not careful, you may go into a lower species. Or also, if you're not careful, you may go into a higher species. You may become a demigod. And then you have to enjoy. Being a demigod is very difficult. Because Prabhupada said, it's more difficult to give up wealth than it is to give up poverty. Giving up poverty is very easy. I don't want to be poor. But giving up being rich, that's not so easy. Parikshit Maharaj, he was very happy to give up wealth. He said, oh, I'm so happy to get this curse. No more big palace, no more elephants and horses and chariots, and now I can just be devotee, which is my natural condition. But that's not so easy. We don't find that people are usually willing to give up their wealth so easily. Because why? Nir Yogakshema Atmavan, Krishna says that Nir Yogakshema is very difficult to acquire something. It's more difficult to preserve it. And it's even more difficult to give it up. So after you work so hard to get this wealth and property, I train my family so nice, then you have to give it up. Oh, very difficult. But if you're unfortunate, that's why Narada Muni cursed Manigriva and Nalakuvara, because He thought, if I put them in a miserable condition, they will want to give it up. If their wealth has become bewildered by their wealth, so let them give it up. Of course, Chanakya Pandit also says that extreme poverty, and the Bhagavatam mentions this also, extreme poverty makes us lose all of our good qualities. So, but voluntary poverty, like the 6 Goswamis, they gave up their wealth and took up voluntary poverty. The Avanti Brahman, it was involuntary, but he came to the realization that actually it's better not to have anything. Even one American poet, he said, in rather not such good English, if you ain't got nothing, you got nothing to lose. No. So, but usually people who don't have anything, they want everything. And people who have everything, they want more. No. So, but actually a devotee who gives up everything, he doesn't give everything. He attains everything. He attains Krishna. Just like Srila Prabhupada said, to be wealthy is very difficult. But if you have a wealthy friend, then you get all the benefits of wealth and you don't have to work for it. No. Like my best friend is very wealthy. I can go in their nice car. I can go in their nice house. No. But I don't have to work for it. No. So we have to gain wealth in this world, we have to do so many austerities and penances, and then to maintain it, so difficult. You know, you're always worried someone will rob me, someone will take it away, my administrator will take over the business, kick me out. Always in anxiety. So Srila Prabhupada says, therefore we should take up Bhagavat Dharma. And Bhagavat Dharma, because everyone is doing service. Everyone has to fulfill this Dharma. The Dharma of the soul is to do service. Just like one time I was preaching to the dictator of Nicaragua, one small country in Central America. And he was a big, big dictator. Anastasia Somoza. Not Samosa, Somoza. No. So I met him, I gave him Bhagavad Gita, and he said, oh, Bhagavad Gita, I like it. I want a Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, please come to my house. So I went to his house, and he had many books about the Vedas. And he said, I like the Vedas, but just one thing, especially your books from your Swami, because he had some of Prabhupada's books. It turned out that his son was going to school in the U.S. with Adi Keshava, who was at that time one of our leaders. So he got Prabhupada's books. And so he said, but your Swami, he says that everyone is a servant. He said, I'm not a servant of anyone. I'm in control. Everyone serves me. I said, no, everyone has to serve. No, everyone serves me. And then, so then his wife came out and said, Ani, come here. And I said, see, okay, I accept. I accept. So we all have to serve, but we're serving the wrong thing. We're serving the wrong person. So Srila Prabhupada makes the point, this partial, temporary service is not real dharma. So it's a false type of dharma. And therefore, sarvadharmam parichaja mamekam sharanam braja. To take shelter of Krishna, you have to give up these false and temporary dharmas. They're not really, they are dharma because it involves service, but it's temporary service. That you will give for some time. Even family, we are so attached to our families, especially in India or Latin America or China. In America, they're not so attached to their family, but in India, in what people call third world countries, where they actually have culture and they actually have responsibility and proper duty, they call that third world. In first world, they're all degraded and looking only after money, and that's supposed to be first world. They have it reversed. First world means people who live by principles. And family is a very important principle, but it causes so much attachment. Unless you have not such a good family, then you may think, well, actually family is made to detach us. Because it doesn't matter how nice someone is, after you live with them for 50 years, you're certain types of attachment, but you also see all of their faults. Every one of them. You know every fault they have. So then after some time you realize, yes, I should give this up. Especially if it's not a spiritual relationship. So, Prabhupada said, therefore, in the next verse, Savaipumsa paro dharma, para dharma, means first class dharma. First class dharma means yato bhaktir oksaja. Sure, Prabhupada explained adoksaja one time, ada aksha aja. That ada, be above, aja, aja. Above what is perceived by the eyes or the material senses. Krishna cannot be perceived by material senses. Therefore, yato bhaktir, it must be bhakti, it must be loving service. So Prabhupada explains, what does loving service mean? It means you must have a relationship with the person. Just like if somebody told someone here, some brahmachari who's not, must get married, you marry that person. Someone on the street, or you must be a friend to that person. I don't know them. So what kind of friend? Just like Srila Prabhupada explained, 3 types of friendship. Bandhu, Mitra, and Suhrit. So Bandhu means official friendship, like friendship we have in work. Well, I have to work with these people every day, so I might make some little friendship, because otherwise it'll be more miserable than it already is. And then Mitra means friendship like family, material friends, you have something in common, or you want to achieve the same thing. That's Mitra. But Suhrit means someone who is very dear to your heart, and therefore, just like a mother, the child is very dear to the heart, and therefore she's chastising, or the father chastising. The real friendship means you do, just like Arjuna says, Yat Streya Sanishchitam Bruhitan Me. Arjuna says, tell me clearly what is best for me. Don't tell me what I want to hear. Tell me what will actually help me advance spiritually. That is what I need. That is the best thing. So, that type of friendship you have when you know the person. So, therefore, Paradharma or Bhagavat Dharma means you must know Bhagavan. You must know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And how do you know Him? Just like it's saying here, by hearing. By hearing. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Maya Sakta Manaparta Yogam Yunjam Manashraya Samshayam Samagram Mam Yajgatva I'm sorry Yajgasi Chachtrinu, that Yasyasi Tachtrinu, that all your doubts will be dispelled when you become attached to Krishna. And therefore, becoming attached to me is the best system of yoga. Therefore, just hear from me how to do it. So hearing is so important. When King Nimi was hearing from the Yogendras about the nature of devotional service, he was very anxious to hear. Ata atyantikam kshemam. He immediately sat down. He asked them. He just saw the Yogendras and he immediately questioned them. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, usually when a great personality comes, first you sit them down, you give them some water, you make them comfortable. But King Nimi, why didn't he do that? Vishwanath says, because he was thinking, I'm a king, these are great sages. Just like Shukadev would only stay long enough for milking the cow. Therefore, if I give all the etiquette, they may go away, and then I'll never understand what is the purpose of life. And therefore he took the risk that let me just immediately inquire. No etiquette. No. But the most important thing. Srila Prabhupada said, the most important thing, the most important service in spiritual life is to hear and inquire. Inquire and hear. And so after he inquired, he began to inquire. Kavi, he began to speak. And he said, he explained illusion and fear. And then after that, he said, how can you get rid of this fear? Shivan Subhadrani Ratangapanir. You hear from Ratangapani. You hear from Krishna, who carries the wheel in his hand. Otherwise, it means also the disc, but it also means the wheel, like in the case of defeating, when he defeated Bhishma, or he stopped Bhishma from killing Arjuna. No, he interfered. He promised not to interfere, but for his devotee. So when you hear from Krishna, who is very anxious to save his devotee, he's very desirous. What do you want to hear? Janmani Karmani Chayani Loka. You want to hear about his birth and his activities and everything that will be beneficial, just like this question. Be beneficial for the world. So this is what we want to hear. So then Srila Prabhupada says that if we have a relationship with someone, like working, if I'm working for someone, then I have a relationship, but it's based on motivation. Or if I pay money, just like if I go to the best hotel here in Calcutta, maybe it costs 75,000 or 1 lakh. No, the best hotel, big suite. They have flowers, you'll have servants. But if I go there as Guru Prasad Swami with my danda and say, can I stay in the presidential suite? No flowers, no room, nothing. No, because I'm not paying. No. So it's based on, just like, you go to any store. I remember one time I was coming to India, first time. I went to some stores in a Jewish neighborhood in New York to get some. In those days, we used to bring little tape recorders and watches. And because of the black market, you could sell them and make enough to pay for your ticket. So every devotee would bring like 6 watches, 5 tape recorders, and sell them on the black market. It wasn't very good, but anyway, we paid our ticket. We were brahmacharis, so what could we do? That's the only way we could get here. So I went in to buy a tape player, but this man, he says, so you want to buy something? Well, I'm looking. Oh, you want to buy or not buy? He was like, he had so many people buying things, he didn't care about the proper etiquette. But nowadays they teach salespeople to, oh, how are you? Very nice, But as soon as you say, I'm not going to buy anything, they go away. So, but when you know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, full of all opulences, the most wonderful Supreme Personality of Godhead, and how do we know him? Srila Prabhupada says, because he is Nanda Nandana, Yashoda Nandana, Radha Govinda, Radha Raman, Radha Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan. We know him because his name tells us everything about him. What is he doing? He is the son of Nanda Maharaj, Aradhyo Bhagavan, Brajesha Taniyas. He is the son of the king of Braja. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Tadhama Vrindavana. He lives in Vrindavan, the most wonderful place, or Mayapur. He lives as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I want to know him. So Srila Prabhupada made the point, when you know Krishna, because you actually, this is why Gitani Nam Nami tad artakani. This is why we sing the names of Krishna, the activities of Krishna, because that's how we know Krishna. And by knowing Krishna, we can become successful. So, and Prabhupada made a beautiful point in this class. He said, but the name Krishna, that describes his quality, which is applicable to everyone. Krishna means all attractive. So for the devotee, he's all attractive. We want to serve him. We want to please him. And for the non-devotee, they want to kill him. So they're also attracted. Prabhupada said, everyone's attracted. If you're a theist or an atheist, the atheist is very attracted, always wanting to defeat Krishna. No, the materialistic person is always wanting to forget about Krishna. No, I don't want to think about these duties. Just like in India, there's a certain class of people who think that religion has made India unsuccessful. It's actually the greatest successful. Srila Prabhupada said it is the transcendental gym. This is the one thing that distinguishes India. Just like we all know what traffic is like in India. Everybody's trying to get ahead, but not very organized. But you go to Kumbh Mela, millions of people, and everything is perfectly organized. Why? Because it's a spiritual event. That's just in the genes of Indian people. Spiritual thing, automatically. Prabhupada says in 10th canto, first chapter, 4th verse, he said, even though India may have lost so much of its qualities, everyone knows they are not this body. And you have a Pandal program and thousands of people will come. And not just poor people, not just ignorant people, very intelligent people, they will come. Because they know this is my duty. So this is the wonderful quality that India has. That even though so much Western influence, so much Middle Eastern influence from the invasions and British and all but even then, India has never lost its quality of being the most spiritual place. Everyone in the world knows that India is the most spiritual country in the world. Everybody knows. Some people try to deny it, just like Prabhupada says, they try to kill Krishna. Sometimes Christian people, Muslim people, they try to kill Krishna, but then they have to think about Krishna. All these big or little Kamsas, Kamsadi, they're followers of Kamsa, but they cannot forget about God. They cannot forget about. So this is Krishna, all attractive. Everyone is attracted to Krishna. I thought that was a beautiful point by Prabhupada. And then Srila Prabhupada, to conclude, and I will conclude with this, he explains the third line of the next verse, which is ahaituki yapratyata, apratyata, that these two things are very important. Ahaituki, one should not have any motive. There is one motive. What is that motive? Samsirir haritoshanam. We want to please Krishna. That is our only motive. Because Krishna says, Bhoktaram jagatapasam, everything is meant to be offered to me. And you can't have any other motive because Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, everything belongs to me. It can only be used in my service. If you don't use it in my service, it will cause so many problems for you. And so, Ahaituki, and Prabhupada gives the example of Dhruva Maharaj. He said he had a motive. He wanted to be a kingdom greater than his own grandfather, which means he wanted something bigger than the universe. Some of us may have some aspirations. Well, I want to make, 10 crores of rupees, or I want to do this. We may have I want to be the king of a country. But he wanted to have something better than the universe. How can you have more aspiration? Of course, a devotee has a greater aspiration. I want to be dasa dasa anudasa. That's the greatest aspiration, because you get more than anyone else. But as far as material things go, you couldn't want more than Dhruva Maharaj. But then finally when he saw Lord Vishnu, he said, Stanabilasi tapasi stitoham. I performed so many austerities. I was to attain my desire. And Tvam Paptavan Munendra Guyam. And I obtained something that even is not accessible to the demigods or the great sages. But then I realized, Kacham Vichinvan Napidivya Ratnam. When I saw you, I realized that my aspiration of having something greater than the universe is like a piece of broken glass. And you are the transcendental diamond. You are the transcendental gem. And therefore, Swamin Kritartosmi Param Yanayache. I don't want anything else. I just want your devotional service. This is what happens when you see Krishna. This is why Rupa Goswami says, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha. That how do you get Nirbandha? How do you become detached? By becoming attached to Krishna. It's not that you give up something. If you give up things, it's very difficult. It makes the heart hard. But if you displace it, you push it away by filling your heart with Krishna, then it becomes very easy. So, and then Prabhupada said, apratyata. And this devotional service must be continuous. It's not, I do devotional service on Sunday. I do devotional service when I come to the temple, and then I go to my house, which is like the castle of Maya. Behind these doors, there's only Maya. And I have my deities, but they're hidden away, so only when I need them. The deities should be in the center of the house. And I'll conclude with this little story. Two little stories. One little story. One time I went to a house many years ago when they had television, the big television. Like now they have flat screen, but they used to have the big. So this family, they said, we have some deities. Can you tell us where to put the deities? I said, yes. Bring a piece of cloth. So I put the piece of cloth over the television. And I said, put them here. Because you're always looking in this direction, so this way you will always be looking at Krishna. And the other little story is about hearing. And this is why I'll conclude with this. Srila Prabhupada, here in Calcutta, in the airport, devotees came to pick him up. And Prabhupada got in the car. All the leaders were there, 3 or 4 big leaders. So they're going, and Prabhupada's chanting. He said, Prabhupada, we have a problem. What is that problem? There's one devotee in Mayapur, and he's only reading your books. He's not doing any service. And Prabhupada said, Parikshit Maharaj, hearing is not service? No. Yes, Prabhupada, but he's not doing any service. He said, this is the greatest service. Yes, Prabhupada, but so, just like Parikshit Maharaj, we must hear. And they were thinking, you don't know what's going to happen. Everybody's going to sit down and read. No one will do anything. And then so Prabhupada just started chanting, and they're in anxiety. Prabhupada said, of course, if he is reading, he will understand, now I must do service. If he is hearing properly. Jai Prabhupada. So this is what Krishna says, idam tate guyatamam papaksham jnanasuyave. If we are not envious, jnanam bhigyana sahitam. That the jnana will automatically produce vijnana, will produce the desire to do something for Krishna. Those things go together. And that way, moksha se shubat, we will be relieved from all the difficulties of the material world. So these were many points that Srila Prabhupada made on this verse. I'll stop here. I know sorry I went a couple of minutes over time. I was trying to obey the sheet here. But if there's any quick question or that one may have, someone may have. And if there's no question, then we can.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your class.
Thank you.
Maharaj Ji, I have one question, but it is not related to this lecture. May I ask?
When that happened, Prabhupada would say, then this is not a good question. But you can ask it. No, it's very quick.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Just let me put in, I have a little hearing problem, so hearing is very important, so I have this little apparatus so I can hear properly. No. Okay.
Maharaj Ji, my question is that what is the meaning of attachment to holy name? Is it just chanting 16 rounds attentively, or cannot stopping oneself from chanting?
Is it what? I'm sorry.
Is attachment to holy name just chanting 16 rounds attentively, or is it not able to being stop oneself from chanting?
We must, Krishna, Srila Prabhupada said, we must be attached. No. You just have to be attached to the right thing. No. Otherwise, attachment is very good when we're attached to Krishna. No. There must be attachment. The living entity is tiny, infinitesimal, and therefore they must be attached to something. No. And therefore we have to direct our attachment to Krishna. No. Attachment is not a bad thing. No. Everything that we experience in our life, in our spiritual life, in our material life, but of course for a devotee there is no material life. Prabhupada says material means forgetting Krishna. If you remember Krishna, then yad karoshi yarashnasi, yad johosi didasi, yad tapasvasvi konteya, yad kurusva mararpanam. If you remember Krishna, then everything you do, everything you eat, everything you give away, every sacrifice you perform will be for Krishna's pleasure. No? Even just working. Just like a person, like a business person or a worker, they have a picture of their family. And they look at that picture and this is why I'm working. So a devotee has a picture of Krishna in their heart. And they always remember, this is why I'm working. So this money, I can make my family Krishna conscious. I can be Krishna conscious. I can have a house where I can have my altar and I can worship Krishna. No. So even work becomes a service to Krishna if we keep Krishna in our hearts. So that attachment to Krishna, having Krishna in my heart, is very important. No. And then everything becomes resolved. Just like one time, one senior devotee, some people were asking, how do I do this? How do I do that? And he said, the answer to how to is chant Hare Krishna. No? How do I do this? How do I get this? How do I be Krishna conscious? Well, the answer is always same answer. Chant the holy name, but chant without offenses. No? Some people think they give up chanting because they think that it's not working. No. But the thing is, I'm not working. My hearing is not working. No. Because I'm not hearing the holy name. And therefore, if I hear the holy name properly, then it will solve all my problems. No. If I hear the Bhagavatam, just like these questions were brought about by the last question in the previous chapter. Since Sri Krishna, the Absolute Truth, the Master of all mystic powers, has departed from his own abode, please tell us to whom religious principles have now taken shelter? No. That was the big question by the sages of Naimisharanya. And the answer is at the end of the 3rd chapter of this canto. No. Krishna sma dharma pagate dharma gyanadibhi saha kalondashtramishamesha puranarko dunoditaha. The answer is, where have religious principles taken shelter? In the Bhagavatam and in the holy name. No. And therefore, if we just stick to Bhagavad Gita, no, as Narottam Das Thakur says, Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita. If we stick to these 5 things, Hari, Guru, the Vaishnava, the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, then all of our problems will be solved. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for class. Maharaj, I feel like I have this.
Thank Prabhupada for the class. I just repeated what he said.
I feel I have discrimination, but there is some gap between discrimination and determination, and I feel I have some realization or about to understand the urgency of the matter, but still to put it into practice, there is something stopping, like maybe laziness or something which is stopping. So how to overcome this?
Chant Hare Krishna. The way to overcome any difficulty is to be a humble servant. And therefore Lord Chaitanya said, because, I said chant Hare Krishna, so Lord Chaitanya revealed, he said in his Shikshastikam, that Durdaivam Idrishami Hajani Nanuraga. This holy name is so wonderful. Yes, okay, I admit that, but I have no attraction. So how do we have an attraction? Trinadapi Sunicheno. No, we become humble. And Tororiva Seshtuna. We learn to tolerate everything. Tatenu Kampam Susamikshama. Patiently we wait for Krishna's mercy, however it comes to us, in any form, whether it be suffering, pleasure, whatever it is. I accept it as Krishna. Generally we accept as Krishna's mercy what I like, and we think whatever I don't like, that is somebody else giving me problems. Or material nature. Yes, they are giving me problems, but they are an instrument of my karma. And therefore I must tolerate. Tolerate. And even if you're Krishna conscious enough, it's not even tolerating. You're grateful. Just like Queen Kunti. She said, let these miseries happen again and again. I'm very grateful because the more miseries there are, the more shelter I will take from Krishna. So we just follow this Shikshastikam. So easy. Just in 8 verses, Lord Chaitanya explained how to, well, even not even 8 verses, in 4 verses. The 5th verse is remembering who I am. And the 6th, 7th, and 8th verse are Abhideya and Prayojana. The first 4 verses are how we can prepare ourselves for the last 3 verses. The first 5 prepare us for the last 3. Nadana Najanana Sundari Kavita Va. I don't want wealth. I could have all the wealth in the world, but it just like I can't think of his name. In the 5th canto. I can't think of his name right now. Yes. He had all the wealth in the world. It was being offered to him. He didn't want it. But he took it up. He took it up because he thought, well, this is my duty. So he had all this wealth, but he wasn't interested in it. Just like I just mentioned, Parikshit Maharaj. He had all the wealth. He wasn't interested. He was happy to give it up. So nadana doesn't mean I don't have anything or I don't want anything, but I understand it belongs to Krishna. I'm just a custodian. I just have to take care of it very nice. Just like with some person who you love very dearly, they give you 2 lakhs of rupees, say, take care of this carefully. You will guard it with your heart? No. But if you think that it's not mine, only what is mine I will take care of. Just like one time Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he was giving Bhagavad Gita class, and he picked up the Bhagavad Gita, it was all falling apart. The Gita in the classroom. So he said, this is the communist Bhagavad Gita. Everyone is using it. But they think because it's not mine, and then he picked up his Bhagavad Gita, very nice, good condition. He said, but if we remember that this Bhagavad Gita, which everyone is using, every one of us must take very careful, be very careful and take great care, then it will always be in good condition. So he was giving the example that when we think something is not mine, not mine, no problem. No. Just like when I was in Delhi, when Srila Prabhupada went to Delhi and I went along. So we went into one life member's house, and afterwards devotees went outside after prasadam to wash their hands. So they finished washing, they turned off the faucet, it was still running. Prabhupada said, turn off the faucet. And devotee said, oh Prabhupada, it doesn't turn off. And the devotee said, but it's not ours. And Prabhupada became very angry. It is not ours, it is Krishna's. It doesn't matter your faucet, this faucet, that faucet. Just like one time Prabhupada was showing a book to a life member of all the different temples. He said, this is this, this is this, this is our castle in Germany. And the devotee said, yes, Prabhupada, that doesn't belong to us. And Prabhupada said, everything belongs to Krishna. If we buy it, if we rent it, it doesn't matter. It's Krishna is giving it to us to use in his service. It's not a question of yours or mine. No. So, just like Lord Rishabdev says, Janasya moham, no, that this moham, thinking it's mine, this is the big problem in life. Aham mameti, thinking that it's mine and thinking this is me, I'm this, and this is mine. And therefore Krishna says, nirmamo nirahankara, that nothing is mine and I am an insignificant servant of Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
So I know it's, okay, one more question, then we have to, I don't want to keep the devotees from their service, no.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for your lecture. My question is, since you mentioned giving up false attachment and serving the wrong object, so how important is duty towards parents or family members that are, say, not Krishna conscious or are hampering your spiritual progress? So to what extent or how important is duty towards people like that in your life?
Well, if they're family members, then it would be very difficult. Because just like, especially if it's your mother or father, they think, who are you to instruct me? Or even sister or brother. And even grown-up children sometimes. Just like Srila, who could have a better father and mother, or better father than Prabhupada? But all of his children, except for Vrindavan, all of his children, they weren't so interested in Prabhupada. They were interested in Prabhupada when he had a business and giving them money, but they weren't very interested in the Prabhupada that took sannyas. So, but instructing people, the best way to instruct people, especially if they're friends or family, is by example. Show them how bhakti gives us good qualities. Because if you try to tell them something, then they'll just reject you. But if you show them how love, responsibility, duty, everything is coming from Krishna consciousness, and then when I first joined Krishna consciousness, I was in the army, and then when I came back with my shaved head and Bhagavatam, and the first thing I said to my parents, everyone is living in illusion. We never went to the moon. And they thought I was crazy. They actually kicked me out of the house. So I thought I was going to enlighten them, and they kicked me out. So sometimes instructing people means giving them the example of how Krishna sarvargunais tatra samatsate sura, as it says in the Bhagavatam. Krishna consciousness fills us with all good qualities.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
So we'll stop here. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Shri Shri Radha Govinda Mahaprabhu ki jai.